Are you tired of a justice system clouded by doubts and SRTV? It's time to build a system that will serve as a beacon of impartiality in the Nigerian judiciary. Together, we can all build the new Nigeria of our dreams. My name is Sunto Black, your amiable host for this edition. Are you tired of a justice system clouded by doubts and unfairness? It's time to make a change. We are introducing to you the solution to the unrivaled justice dispensation. We will be talking about the sanitization of the judiciary. Join us today in the next President's reality show as we unveil a future where fairness prevails. It's time to build a system that will serve as a beacon of impartiality in the Nigerian judiciary. Together, we can all build the new Nigeria of our dreams. My name is Sunto Black, your amiable host for this edition. Are you tired of a justice system clouded by doubts and unfairness? It's time to make a change. We are introducing to you the solution to the unrivaled justice dispensation. We will be talking about the sanitization of the judiciary. Join us today in the next President's reality show as we unveil a future where fairness prevails. It's time to build a system that will serve as a beacon of impartiality in the Nigerian judiciary. Together, we can all build the new Nigeria of our dreams. My name is Sunto Black, your amiable host for this edition. Are you tired of a justice system clouded by doubts and unfairness? It's time to make a change. We are introducing to you the solution to the unrivaled justice dispensation. We will be talking about the sanitization of the judiciary. Join us today in the next President's reality show as we unveil a future where fairness prevails. It's time to build a system that will serve as a beacon of impartiality in the Nigerian judiciary. Together, we can all build the new Nigeria of our dreams. My name is Sunto Black, your amiable host for this edition.
We have started.
Where is the camera?
That's what we have been doing. Just taking since we started.
Are you tired of a justice system clouded by doubts and unfairness? It's time to make a change. We are introducing to you the solution to the unrivaled justice dispensation. We will be talking about the sanitization of the judiciary. Join us today in the next President's reality show as we unveil a future.
Kanu, over to you.
Yes, sir. Good evening to you all. Considering the judiciary system for dispensation, actually we need to understand the loopholes that need to be filled in order to before proceeding. We need to consider the aspect of the bias which has to be eliminated, the aspect of corruption, the aspect of impunity, with respect to and also provision of database that can work within the judiciary and also the police and correctional centers in order to facilitate the aspect of corruption. We have to find unbiased has to be eliminated and also corruption has to be eliminated. Recall earlier on there were some judges that were caught in cases of corruption earlier on 5 judges, which I don't have to mention therein, and also the aspect of impunity in the sense that those that are in high rank are the ones that are not that are above the law, and they don't wish to execute law on them, whereas it is only those on the lower level that law is to act on them, and also the action of the in terms of the judiciary system, in terms of the judiciary have to be separated from the executive in the sense that even though there are some process that has to be that they have to undergo before election of judges, chief judges, and also up to the Supreme Court, but at least some certain of separation of power in terms of should not be the president that has the final say in terms of confirmation of the appointment of the chief judge or any practitioner at the high court or the Supreme Court. They should be independent, and the judges should be the ones responsible within the judiciary council to appoint the person that they know he has integrity and is going to be unbiased to be the one to chair the affairs of the judiciary.
All right, thank you. Do you have a question for him, sir?
Why did you think that the judiciary should appoint, looking at the fact that the present system is aimed at reducing the level of corruption or abuse in that sector for the executive and the legislature participation. But now what you are saying that once the judicial CJC finish, they should just appoint.
Sir, because as far as I'm concerned, it is the person that is in the room that know where it is looking particularly. So the judiciary are the ones that knows, the ones with integrity, the ones that are not having integrity, the patriotic among them. Because as far as I'm concerned, for anyone to be involving himself in corruption, he is not a patriotic Nigerian, and it's not a particular patriotic judge. That's simply my answer to that question, sir.
Okay.
Hello.
The most important roles of the judiciary are upholding the principles of justice, maintaining and ensuring the protection of the rule of law, and safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the individuals of the country. However, like every other system, the judiciary faces challenges that pose a threat to its effectiveness. There is a need to sanitize the Nigerian judiciary to ensure incomparable justice. In order to achieve this, we can follow steps such as promoting transparency and accountability in judicial processes, and establish systems for accountability of judges, ensuring the independence and autonomy of the judiciary from external influence, implementing financial autonomy for judges by protecting judges from political interference or pressure from the other arms of government, mostly the executive and legislature. It is also important to provide training programs on legal ethics, updates and case management, and then strengthen anti-corruption initiatives within the judiciary, and also create independent bodies to investigate and address corruption allegations against judges. By dealing with issues of transparency, combating corruption, and investing in training, the judiciary system can be sanitized and unrivaled justice dispensation can be achieved.
Thank you. Questions?
Okay. What does the judiciary do in Nigeria?
They protect the rule of law. They are the final hope of the common man. They are there to help the common man in problems, most especially in addressing civic problems.
Thank you. FCT.
Thank you very much, sir. If you are talking of sanitizing the judiciary in Nigeria, we have to adopt the following measures. Number one, there is what we call independence of the judiciary, because there is interference from the executive arms of government and from the legislatures. They have influence in nomination of judges, in passing of judgment. So the judiciary have to be independent from these legislators and the executive arms of government. And secondly, if we really want to sanitize the judiciary, we have to fund the judiciary, sufficient fund of the judiciary. Definitely that we are now. There is no sufficient fund for the judiciary. And then another aspect is securing the tenure of the judges. Because most of the judges, their tenure is not secured. They are scared of either maybe today or tomorrow they will be removed. That is why they are engaged in one corruption activity or the other. And there is what we call relaxing some complex rules and procedures that are hindering passing judgment on time. So we have to relax them. And another point is appointing justice based on merit, not based on nepotism, sentiment, ethnicity, and others.
Thank you. Question? Alright, let me ask you one question because you mentioned sanitize, alright? Are there any specific measures or reform that can be implemented to sanitize the judiciary?
Yes, sir. There are some measures that can be independent when made. And then secondly, mode of the removal of our judges supposed to be independent from the executive arms of government. It's supposed to be under the judiciary. And then another thing is securing their independence.
Thank you. Gombe.
As we all know, the judiciary is the body that is responsible for the interpretation and application of laws in a country. So you can imagine, first of all, as my co-speaker said, he spoke about independence. Now we all know that the three arms of government work together, but for a free and fair flow of responsibilities, the judiciary needs to work independently in terms of appointing judges, as he said, as he rightfully said, and in terms of carrying out their duties. Secondly, under the judiciary. Now this will help in terms of reference in the future for any case in the future to come. And then it's very important so that when there's a judicial problem, you are able to know what is supposed to be done and how things are supposed to be done, so that you will not be under the influence of the judiciary that are corrupt, but at least you have a reason and an awareness of what is supposed to be done. So that way you'll be able to further your reports in case you are not convinced with any judicial findings. And then finally, there must be a governing body like the EFCC, the ICPC, that is there to ensure that this judiciary do their work accordingly and by the means of the right constitution. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions?
You said something about record keeping.
Yes, sir.
Are you telling me that over the years our judicial system in Nigeria do not keep record?
No, they keep records, but when I say record keeping, sometimes you keep after a judicial session or something, you find out that some of the records are being diverted or they are being changed. So with the proper book record, in case of any corruption or wrong interpretation of any judge, you can still fall back to those records. So when I mean record, I mean the exact and accurate record that was used for a particular judgment.
I'm going to ask you a question because you are referring to this man who says sanitize. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So, but let me ask you one question. How can the judiciary be sanitized to ensure unbiased and fair decision making? Because yes, you reference to your fellow key speaker who mentions sanitize, and also
yes,
you are saying, okay, how can that be?
Now, sanitizing, first of all, we'll go back to investigations, where a committee can be set to look into the judges and their records, one, and then two, to sanitize, we have to ensure that those that are being appointed as judges, as chief judges, and as court judges are actually free and fair of any wrong or bad records in the past.
Thank you. All right, please hand over our mics while we call the next set of people. Thank you.
of what results of the fact that laws are not just derived from logic, rather based on experience, based on what we experience commonly in the society. And then secondly, I believe that part of the solutions that we'll get in while sanitizing the judiciary system is that people should be given access to legal institutions at every level, from the lowest to the highest level. Like, it should be open and access to the people of the society. And then thirdly, I believe that one of the solutions will also be not delaying justice. Like, a case shouldn't be prolonged to a year, by which at the end of the day it gets to state pardon, because there are some certain criminal cases that actually requires immediate justice for transparency. So if such cases are being delayed, at the end of the day, the person that is meant to be punished will go free, like the culprits will go free, and then those that are supposed to be in the shoes will, like, the issue will go in a vice versa nature. And then well, I think that's
okay, question, sir.
Okay. Who investigates corrupt judges?
Corrupt judges are actually investigated by the DSS.
It's okay.
And artificial and state of intelligence services.
Thank you very much. Well, you're sure of your answer, eh? Lagos State, please come over. Thank you.
NJC.
Thank you so much. Firstly, I would like to start by saying that judiciary is the root of any government. Without stabilizing the judiciary, actually there will be no any rule. And when there is no rule, you already know what is the consequences. So firstly, to stabilize, to sanitize our judiciary, I would like to say increase in the transparency and accountability of the judiciary by increasing the number of judges and the court staff. Through things like mandatory disclosure of financial interest, public, and also public access to the court record. Secondly, we increase the independence of the judiciary out from other part of the government sectors, and also reform the way judges are appointed and selected. We can also address the issue of delay in judgment, because they are the ones that are like causing most of the problems that we are facing in the judiciary.
Question. Come. You are asking a question. You are blocking her. Come to the middle.
Not sure what's involved.
What can you say has been the cause for delay in judgment, as you said?
Well, I can say that first we lack like inadequate of enough judges and the court staff.
We don't have enough judges in the jail.
No, sometimes it can lead to the delay of judges, like judiciary.
Thank you, Imo.
Good day, everyone. I'm here to talk about sanitizing the judiciary. Yes, it is said that the judiciaries, they play a role in the law by ensuring that the people of the masses in the nation, that they have a perfect place in judging. That is to say, the roles that they play ensuring justice is being served. Now we're talking about the importance of sanitizing. It is very important to sanitize the judiciary. By doing this, it helps in the maintaining of public trust and confidence in the legal system. Now we're talking about the ways to sanitize the judiciary. 1, transparency. 2, we're talking about anti-corruption measure. 3, we're talking about professional training. 4, we talk about the use of technology in our country and the judiciary. 5, we talk about public transparency. With this, I believe the judiciary can be sanitized. To sanitize the judiciary, this
This is a continuous process that requires commitment from all stakeholders involved in the administration. Who are the stakeholders? Now, the stakeholders who we are talking about now are those who are in charge of the law. Like, for example, the judge. If the judge is not being transparent, and if the judge could not pass an accurate judgment that is being mentioned, that means what they are doing there is not being transparent. Let's take a walk back on months back. Like in Nigeria, there are some certain challenges that occur in the judiciary that the judiciary themselves could not at least tamper the real justice. Now, it has been said that who are those that we are looking onto? Many people will say we are looking onto the judiciaries. What are we looking onto the judiciaries? We are looking onto them for free mercy. If there is no mercy and if the judiciaries cannot at least stand in their words, what are they telling us who are not into the system?
Thank you. Question? Question?
One question.
Question? Maybe because today is your birthday, right?
Today is a special day. So you shouldn't bombard them too much. That's my joy is there.
What does the judiciary do in Nigeria?
The judiciary, their work in Nigeria is to ensure that the masses, people like us, if we are in pain or if there is a case being brought to them, that they will look onto the case and tamper the justice, as delivering the justice.
Adamawa.
Sir, for us to be calling for sensitization of the Nigerian judicial system, it actually portrays that there is debt, and actually, for us to have debt, the first thing we need to do is is for us to reorient ourselves. So the first step towards sensitizing the judicial system is education and training. There's a body which is in charge of recruiting or calling young minds who have graduated into the legal profession, which are called the Nigerian Body of Benchers. So what I think the Body of Benchers should do is to introduce the education and training of these young baristas that will be called to bar. That it shouldn't be just about a profession that is about making fund, or it's a profession that you just come to make money. The legal profession is about administering justice, because it is the third arm of government that is charged with the as the custodian of the law. So it shouldn't be an avenue for revenue generation for an individual. First, you should know that your integrity as a lawyer is what matters. So when you build on that, because if we look at the judicial system, it has become an issue of the highest bidder. As earlier we've heard the barrister mention that it is who get money, go court, go win. Permit me to say that in Nigerian pidgin English. Secondly, I think the next issue is poor funding. If we look at the judicial system, not the judges might be well paid, but if we look at people like the clerk, the common barristers, the solicitors in the judicial system, they might not have adequate funding. And a person might be tempted to accept any offer he sees to feed, because we know that survival is first, but if you are not paid well, you'll be tempted to accept any offer, then trample on the law or even hide it. Then thirdly, I think another issue that we should look into appropriately is the issue of appointment. Because one of the things most people, though the process of appointment, especially of judges, is one which has been fabricated to sit well with the Nigeria Judicial Council, then he will be recommended to the Senate. The Senate will screen, which is being the representative of the public, before the President will assign or sign to approve the person. But the process of selecting that person from even the NJC, they said they look at the person who is closer to the government or might have high chances of acquiring that assertion early. And when we look at the process of screening at the Senate, I think there's one common word they call rubber stamp. When you just come, they might not scrutinize to get the best person, but somebody they feel, because before even recommendation, they might have a person in heart and influence the decision of recommendation for that particular person.
Thank you. With what you said, it's obvious that the judiciary needs reforms, right?
Total.
Thank you. So are there any specific measures or reforms that can be implemented to sanitize the judiciary?
Yes, sir. From the NJC, which is the body charged with especially punishing judges and lawyers, they have to come up with They have to come up with punishment specifically stated, because when there is a case of a lawyer with malpractice or a judge with malpractice, he's been taken to the NJC, and the NJC set up a committee or a council to just look into the case and prefer a punishment if you are found guilty, which most times we know they will favor their colleague or look maneuver around the case. But there should be static, there should be stated punishment for a particular crime. If you are a judge and you are found for collecting bribe to administer the wrong justice, there should be specific punishment stated, not a committee of people that might end up lobbying the case or maneuvering the case should be set.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Miles.
I have one
question for him.
I'm curious about something.
It's alright.
And I'm in his presentation. No, you're talking about the orientation, the education of the prospective lawyers.
Yes, sir.
That are just about to be called to bar.
Yes,
So that now brought me to ask, what are they actually doing in that law school they normally go to?
Okay, so you know,
because I'm not a lawyer. So I'm curious why they normally educate them, tell them the ethics, the values, the integrity, everything as a lawyer.
Okay, so
what are they actually doing?
The training and education is actually for them to know, because in the maybe in the school of law school, which is the final school before you get to be called to the bar, they might be training, and those training and how there might be legal training on how to defend or administer justice. But
thank you.
Thank you. It's like you are closer to the judiciary.
Sir? I applied law, they gave me political answer.
Go ahead.
The foundation of a society is dependent on its justice system. What will happen if the justice society, the judiciary that are saddled with the task of interpreting the law are not doing well? Corruption, like we know, will destroy the society. Now, the Nigerian judiciary system. The Nigerian judiciary system are responsible with the task of interpreting the law. After the legislator makes the law, the executive execute the law. They play an important role in the society. But what happens when those that are saddled with the role of interpreting the law are same people who are breaking the law? It is for this reason, if I happen to be the I will try first and foremost by setting up committee that will monitor bribery and corruption. Secondly, the ICPC rule states that it prohibits every bribing and corruption. I will ensure that the tax is taken properly. Thirdly, a database of all legal system will be taken in place. And lastly, I will ensure that election is done properly so that everyone is entitled for the legal system that he merits. Let's not forget that a society without law is going to destruction.
One of the guys men will talk to them.
Okay. What are the remedies? What are the judicial remedies in Nigeria?
Okay, the judicial remedy in Nigeria, I believe the ICPC rule is one of the judicial remedy because it states that it prohibits the bribery and corruption. Then secondly, there is a law. I believe that no one is above the law. Thank you.
Thank you, Oshu. Come over.
Alright, I'm going to start by telling us that there is a normal cliche which we always say that the rule of law is the supremacy of the law. But when it's being tampered, there is going to be a problem. And that is one of the issues that we face in the country. I've always been saying this because we all pray for a solution, but the solution never comes easy. Then how do we do it? We have to put our best to it. So I'm going to highlight just one problem about the judiciary system, which is the third arms of government, which is the interference of the political party. Every central government tends to dominate the judiciary arms of government because they feel when they get to the power, they have the political power, they can make and amend the law because definitely they are the ones leading the country through the government. Then it is a normal thing that when a political party emerge as a winner, the other ones will always claim to challenge the results. And when they challenge the result, it's always a problem because definitely they might not get the justice. It is always going to all the youths, all the people in the country. But what then can we do? The governments have the say. That's what we do. So the solution actually is like making a strong belief that yes, there has to be a level of transparency in terms of the judiciary and so forth.
Thank you. Question.
Sir. You were trying to, I can say I agree with you to some extent on the problem of the judiciary, but you have
Alright, thank you.
measures.
Okay. So like I said earlier, the executive arms of government tend to dominate the power of the judiciary because one of the reasons is this, the fact that most of all the people in the judiciary, most of the judges, most of the lawyers, they are always afraid to be outthrown out of their basic work to do because then they feel this executive as superior to them.
What is the solution?
The solution to it is to make it clear that yes, you have to be transparency. You have to admit your job and you have to do it the way it has to be done.
Thank you.
That's the new scale.
Kogi State. Man on the gala.
It's been said that the judiciary is the goal of the common man, but in the present day Nigeria, I want to say that the judiciary is the hope of the elites and the political gladiators. I want to speak on the topic sanitizing the judiciary for unrivaled justice dispensation. The judiciary is supposed to be independent, but for a country like Nigeria, we've not seen that happening over a long time. And I just want to provide solutions to these issues and see how we can make things work. The first thing I will do when I become president is to make sure I sanction all hearing judges. And how is that? Whereby when you have a hearing judge, the best you can do is set up a committee within the National Judicial Council, try to go through the case that has been allocated against this person. When the person is found wanting, you could either choose to dismiss the person or possibly retire a person or suspend a person based on the severity of the case. Another thing I want to solve or fight is to increase the salary structure of the judiciary. I think the issue of bribery and corruption is because the remuneration for these persons are not so much, so they can afford for whatever money the government will be bringing. Corruption will be a thing of the day because they are not motivated from the government. So I'll try to set up their salary structure to be something very, very meaningful, something that can sustain them and won't be influenced by the government trying to, bribe them and all of that. The next thing I'll work on is trying to see how we could bring orderliness to the judiciary by making sure that cases are solved on time, people are waiting trial, are giving their fair judgment, and either convicted or they are discharged from the court based on the prevailing cases they have. These are the issues.
Questions?
I've been curious about this. Delay in judgment, delay in whatsoever, many things in the judicial system. Can you just highlight to me what are those things causing all those delay? You also mentioned something about delay in judgment cases. Now, can you just tell me over the years what have been causing this delay? Is it the negligence of the judges or what?
Okay. So for delay in judgment, for Nigeria, I want to say that the major problem is the sincerity of purpose from the judges, from the judiciary system itself. They have these cases and they don't try to solve them or try to look into these cases as at when due, because they want to look at other cases that will profit them. Just like in Nigeria now, we have electoral cases that are triggered even more than the 90 days period that is supposed to be stipulated. The Electoral Act was reviewed to be 90 days, but we had a precedent that even after being sworn in, some days after or months after, we still haven't been to court to solve issues with that. So I think the major thing is that the fact that the judiciary are not doing their work because they are not encouraged by the government. They are not motivated in terms of payment of salary and in terms of the structure that is being laid already. The National Judicial Council needs to be reviewed and all of these things need to be checked again. There needs to be a restructuring of the Judiciary Council itself to meet up the present day realities.
Thank you. Rivers.
Talking about sanitizing the judiciary for on-field justice dispensation, you should know that the judiciaries are known with three functions, which interpreting law, analyzing, and making sure that there is justice. And of course, a denied justice is just like denied justice. And that is where I will step in. If I should be elected as a president, I will make sure through the separation of powers, judiciary must have any contact with the political parties, mostly especially the parties in power, which I will ensure that they limit contact with